Hello, my crafty friends. Um, I don't usually do this kind of video where I'm sitting in front of the camera. Um, as long as I can remember, I've wanted to be the person behind the camera, not the one in front of the camera. But what I wanted to talk to you about tonight, it's important to me. You're important to me. And so that's why I'm showing my face. Normally, I'm just doing those, talking hands videos. But this is an important thing. And it's important because I I showed y'all a technique of working on painting on receipt paper and thermal paper like fax paper, and I love that technique. It was a lot of fun, um, but I didn't know that there were dangers involved when I made that video and told you about it. And I know quite a few of you got excited about doing that, and oh goodness, I got information later that there are some health issues that you need to think about when you're working with those receipt papers. And everything I could find talks about getting it on your hands, and it talks about the people who are in the most danger are people who work at grocery stores and they're touching receipts all day long. Um, and they talk about the people manufacturing the papers, the thermal papers, and how they have issues with during that process with the vapor, um, in their work environment. And those were the people that they said, were in the most danger. Um, but small children touching receipts and playing with them and stuff tend, because they put their hands in their mouth, they tend to absorb a lot more than adults do. Also, anyway, they talk about all of these things. The BPAs is what they're talking about. I saw different articles where they talk about different companies are now doing thermal papers without the BPAs in them, but they still have BPSs, whatever those are, some other chemicals in those receipts. And so far, I couldn't find anything that says they're making receipts now. These are older articles, but I couldn't find anything that says they're making receipts now that don't have this issue at all. When I first read that, I thought, well, I get a lot more exposure to receipts in my purse and in my wallet than I do when I've got them laid out here and I'm putting paint all over them. Also, when you put acrylic paint all over them, you're basically encasing them in plastic. And so probably once you're finished playing with them, they're less dangerous than they were before you started. I still think that's probably true, to be honest. And I'm not saying that I will never, ever do painty paper receipts again, because I probably will. But I think there are precautions that are just normal precautions that we take with other things that we need to take with the receipts. One precaution that I read over and over again was do not clean your hands with the gel antibacterial cleaners, the alcohol, things with alcohol in them, because that only makes the BPAs absorb into your body faster. So if you've got this stuff on your hands, wash it with just soap and water. One article I read said that may or may not help. The others, said be sure to wash your hands before you touch food or anything you're going to eat. Anyway, I think those are good precautions. I also changed wallets. I used to keep all my receipts in my wallet, but I got a new wallet, and I'd put an envelope in my purse. And now when I get a receipt, I stick it in that envelope. So it's not just wallowing around in my purse where everything touches it and where I touch it every time I open my wallet. But that was a precaution that I would take whether or not I'm painting on receipts or on thermal paper. But I got to thinking about, the the idea of it getting on your hands wouldn't stop me from doing this, because I don't do it very often. And like I said, I spend a lot more time touching receipts doing everyday things than I do doing art on them. But the more I thought about the process of using the heat gun, and I became concerned that maybe heating them up like that releases some of that into the air and you're breathing it. I don't know. I couldn't find any evidence in any of those papers that I read that would be the case, but it makes sense to me that it might be. And that concerns me a lot more than touching my hands to them. So I wanted to bring this to your attention and let you think about it. Also, some of you may not have seen those articles. Somebody posted one and told me about it. I can't remember who it was that sent it to me the first time. I thought it was on my video, that it was a comment on my video, but I can't find it. So whoever you were, thank you for informing me. And I'm sorry I don't remember who it was that sent me the information the first time. And I can't even find that article again. I did find an article that I think, well, I'm not now at the moment. I can't think of who the second person was that sent me an article, but I'm going to post 3 different things in the description box, links to 3 different things in the description box below this video, so that you can go and read these things for yourself, and you can decide if you want to paint on receipts or not. My issue is that when you do, there are a lot of things you use in art that are toxic if you breathe them. And so we take all kinds of precautions. When we use alcohol inks, we take precautions. We make sure we have good ventilation. We make sure that we wear a mask or something like that. I always have a fan behind me blowing this direction, and I have the door open and make sure that that I'm not just sitting here soaking up that alcohol, the fumes of the alcohol. When I'm sealing stuff with spray sealers, I always do it outside. So I'm not breathing in that stuff. And I think maybe taking those same precautions with this might be a good idea. A mask might be a good idea. But like I said, that's something, you're going to have to decide for yourself. You're adults. You can make that decision for yourself. But I didn't want to not give you the information since I now have it. When you're using the alcohol inks and the sprays and all those things, they kind of warn you themselves, because when you're using them, you'll get a headache if you don't have good ventilation, or the smell makes it obvious you need to do something. But when I was heating these receipts, I didn't feel any of those kinds of instant repercussions. I didn't have any, I didn't smell anything different than when I use a heat gun on any other acrylic inks or acrylic sprays or acrylic anything that I do. It didn't smell any different from that. So I don't know for sure that that heat is releasing that into the air and you're breathing it, but I think it is something to think about and be concerned about. I contemplated just taking those videos down, but I decided I'm going to put a link to this video in the description box of those videos so that people can have this information. I love you, and I don't want you to get sick because you're painting on receipts. I haven't noticed, anything obvious, like I said, but that doesn't mean that it's not an issue to think about carefully. I'm even showing you my messy room here. That's how much I love you. Anyway, I'm going to let you go now. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this, but I just wanted you to have this information and be a informed consumer or an informed arter. And I didn't have this information when I was actually making the videos, or I would have said something, but I have it now, and so now I'm saying something. God bless you all. And I hope you have a great evening. Bye bye.